Now, the presidential election predictions from key states have sparked protests and demonstrations in several cities of the United States. With a lot of the battleground states yet to declare the results, the violent clashes have raised some serious concerns of a possible civil unrest in the nation. The New York police, and this is what the New York police has done, they've arrested at least about 50 people on Wednesday night following protests earlier in the day. The protesters rallied through Manhattan streets and they demanded a thorough count of ballots that were cast in the presidential race, calling for racial justice and also an end to police brutality.
You can't stop the revolution! You can't stop the revolution! You can't stop the revolution! You can't stop the revolution!
Meanwhile, the Black Lives Matter protesters were joined by other groups in Manhattan on Thursday night as ballots counting continued. Several anti-Trump demonstrators demanded that officials count every vote, and they took to the streets of Philadelphia, but they were met with President Trump's supporters who waved flags and also wanted that the counting of these mail-in ballots that are still coming in should stop. The protest came as the president insisted that there were major problems with the ballot counting, as Republicans have filed lawsuits in various states over the election. Meanwhile, Donald Trump supporters and counter-protesters confronted each other in front of the TCF Center in downtown Detroit on Thursday. The two groups yelled back and forth for several minutes before the police eventually separated them. Now, several of Trump's supporters reportedly were carrying weapons and had participated in a demonstration in the day, protesting the handling of Michigan's vote count. The supporters of US President Donald Trump also gathered outside of a vote counting center in Las Vegas on Thursday as the Trump campaign filed a lawsuit alleging Nevada officials of voting fraud. The Trump campaign said that its Nevada lawsuit would allege a series of voting irregularities in populous Clark County, which includes Las Vegas, such as voting by people who had left the state or were even dead, and their votes were also being counted, as what the Republicans are now alleging.
Because it never happened before. Usually it ends November 3rd, and now they're counting, making up votes that are not even there.
This is a very unusual year, though, because of coronavirus. I mean, how much do you think that has had an impact?
Everything was planned out. To me, everything. Nobody needs to tell me. I know it. I feel it. I know that all this was planned ahead, probably years ahead.
Who by?
By the Democrats, if you want me to be honest.
Meanwhile, dozens of Donald Trump's supporters were seen protesting outside of the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, where absentee ballots were being counted. The outcome of the U.S. presidential polls remains uncertain even on this day, as the 5 swing states continue to count the ballots. A group of Trump supporters gathered in front of the Phoenix City Hall in response to the unsubstantiated rumors that votes for the Republican president were deliberately not being counted. The members of Trump's campaign in Arizona met with the supporters and vowed that the state will go to Trump, a promise that was met with cheers and applause. Meanwhile, crews erected fence in the parking lot of the Maricopa County Election Department facility in downtown Phoenix in anticipation of more protests as vote counting continued in the state.